True.
Well, speaking about Valentino Rossi, shall we throw it back?
Let's throw it back, boys.
Yeah, good call.
A great segue.
James's throwback this week.
Alrighty, boys. On this day, is what the video is, 2003 Phillip Island Grand Prix. Now, with this Grand Prix, it was terrible weather. So it was my first ever Motogp experience. I went down in the back with my dad.
Yep.
On the 996.
Oosh.
And then my uncle went down. And I can't believe we even rode down because it was like pissing down rain the whole weekend. We even were in the pits, got interviewed by Fox Sports. My uncle was rambling on to one of the things about how bad the weather was. And it was so bad, I think we just watched, qualifying.
Just how small the crowd was.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
No
And look how waterlogged all the sides are. So we just watched it from we went back to the house in Phillip Island and just watched it because it was too much. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But what an amazing, probably one of the most iconic races in the modern era for MotoGP and probably for Valentino Rossi.
I have to admit, I was there with my family. We were there that year, and my probably earliest memory of MotoGP race was this.
Yeah.
And I always go back to this race about this 10-second penalty, the famous 10-second penalty, which you'll explain.
Man, so when I first walked into that track, I'll never forget the smell of two-stroke.
Yeah.
And the sound of the bikes and how loud they were.
You sort of actually fall in love instantly.
Yeah, you do. And I remember, this is 2003, everyone was talking about Casey Stoner. He was the next big thing. He was the next big thing.
Yep. So he was in.
He was in 125s.
Right, and that's the yellow flag that Bayless.
Yeah, so basically the main thing that happened at this race was Bayless crashed. Rossi passed under a yellow flag, and then he had a 10-second penalty. So then he was out in front, and then had to win by 10 seconds or more, which is, how hard is that to do?
Yeah.
And then wins by 15. So then he won by 5, technically. And he started on pole, got swamped to about 10th in the first lap. So he came back from 10th to then win by 15.
Wow.
The GOAT.
Yeah, amazing. With that, which I found interesting, a couple interesting things, it was a pretty stacked field. Like,
Oh man, absolutely it was.
Rossi, Caparossi, that Ducati, the 2003 Ducati is my favourite MotoGP bike.
Yeah, it looked good.
All
Yeah,
time.
it's a good looking bike that.
All time. I don't think there's a better looking bike since.
Just so classic, isn't it? The classic colours, Marlboro sponsorship.
Just looks like they all, for me, they are like my favourite MotoGP bikes. They look like proper prototypes.
Yeah.
Like we always touch on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what racing bikes should look like.
Yeah, they look like, they do. No winglets, no aero.
Pointed front, pointed rear
Yeah.
tail.
Yeah. The good thing about the new bikes are, if you strip the winglets off, it's not going to be that much different.
No, they're still good looking bikes.
Yeah.
It's just the winglets,
Yeah.
mainly. I reckon the Honda without winglets would look mint.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got guns in there. Carlos Checa, Kenny Roberts Jr., Nicky Hayden, first year.
Yeah, he was up there as well. He was second.
I think he finished third.
Yeah.
Caparossi got second.
Slide of biscuits.
Marco Melandri just won a 250cc title. That was his first year on that Yamaha. Max Biaggi was there. Richie Kirinari, Alex Barros, Bayless. Oh, stacked field. Gary McCoy, John Hopkins,
Hopper.
which is nuts. So in that same weekend, Danny Pedrosa just wrapped up the 125cc title the week before.
Yep.
Comes out free practice Saturday morning, crashes, hits the tyre wall, breaks both his ankles.
Oh.
Do not remember that at all. And then just misses the rest of the year.
Wow.
But luckily he just wrapped up the title.
Wish you had that same luck in MotoGP.
Oh no, Jesus.
Imagine.
All right.
Maybe used it all up then. And in that race,
Yeah, good point.
in that race, there was 16 retirements in the 125s.
What, 16?
Unheard
It must have
of.
been wet. Must have been pissing down.
Jeez,
It
that's
must have been
nuts.
in for
Are
the
they on
morning.
slick? Are they on slicks here?
Look at the power slide.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's nuts.
They are on slicks, aren't they? Because it was wet at the start of the race. So.
16 retirements, and just have a listen to some of these names in the 125 class.
Yeah.
So you had Pedrosa, who didn't obviously race, Casey Stoner, Andre Dovizioso, Marco Simoncelli, Mickey Callio, Pablo Nieto, Lucio Cecchinello,
No way.
Tom Luthi, Julian Simon, Gabor Talmashi, Jorge Lorenzo, Alex DeAngelis, Hector Barbara, Alvaro Bautista. That's just in the 125 class.
And we thought Moto 2 was a stacked field.
Man,
That is a massive field.
Few world champions there.
how amazing. And a couple team owners, Nieto and Cecchinello.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
unreal.
crazy.
uh,
And the other thing is
Incredible.
like, yeah, that it is incredible. And they've all most of those riders did something.
yeah.
Like they didn't
What a-
one hit wonders. And the other thing to take out of that is how amazing Danny Pedrosa is.
Yeah.
To win that year.
Danny Pedrosa in those lower classes was unstoppable.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah,
He was a joy to watch.
Helps when you weigh 10 kilos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
he did have weight advantage.
Yeah. No,
He-
but like you said, to do that against
Yeah.
all those names, like, man.
Yeah, there is some killers.
How did Casey Stoner go in the race?
Retired, crashed. It was one of the 16 or 18 retirements. So it's
How
yeah.
many was in the field?
uh,
I remember the field.
17 plus 6, 17 plus 19. Or
I remember
whatever
the
it was.
fields back in the day were
16.
They were
massive.
massive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
they
like
were.
40
205 and
riders.
250.
Yeah,
It was
Awesome.
cheaper. It was cheaper to get back in here. So
Yeah.
I'm even looking at it here. So for the wild cards for Aussies and the 250s,
Yeah,
there was 4.
yeah.
There was 4 wild cards, but 5 actually. But 4 of them didn't qualify because they weren't fast enough. Must have been in practices.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
got
you
ya.
got 110% of the time or something.
Yeah, exactly. But Anthony West got second that year in the 250cc race. Tony Lees was in it, 11th. Chaz Davies was in it. Hector Falbel, you remember him.
Yeah, yep.
Sebastian Porto, like there is Sylvain Guntoli, retired. You just forget, man.
Yeah.
You just forget where these riders, they've
Well,
been
starting
around.
next week, we've got a new segment coming.
We do.
Where are they now?
Yep.
Daniel's going to hit us off next week.
Damn.
One other thing to touch on as well, I was actually looking at lap times. So the pole lap time was 1:30 around Phillip Island.
Yep.
Now, Moto 2 is only 1:32. So they're
Really?
only 2 seconds off what MotoGP are now.
Surely some... Wait. 132 back then?
132 now, Moto 2.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
they've caught up.
Interesting.
And what's really interesting is the Moto 2, it was 2019, Tom Luthi did that. And in 250s, it's those Moto 2 boys are only a 10th quicker than 250s back in 2008. If that makes sense. So Moto 2 in 2019 did a 132.6.
Yeah.
The 250cc 2 strokes
Yeah.
back in 2008, their last year, did a 132.7.
Okay.
So
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
so in over 10 years, they're only a 10th faster, which I think is quite incredible. And then the 500cc fastest lap is a 132.7. So they're slower than Moto 2 bikes.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was different.
Yeah, interesting. That's really interesting, actually. The other thing is, obviously, those 500s were bullies down the straight, and they were just harder to get through the corners.
Yeah, I was going to say different power delivery.
Yeah, exactly right. Just looking at this now, World Superbikes fastest laps are 130 flat. Now,
Yeah.
same time as a 2003 MotoGP bike.
Yeah.
This is just crazy. It's 20 years on.
Yeah.
World Superbikes are now only the same speed as a prototype 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling.
That's crazy.
Yeah, half the engine size as well.
Yep. Again, down to power delivery as well.
Yeah.
Hooking up that rear tyre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
braking
crazy.
heavier bike, braking harder
Yeah.
into like say Miller Corner and Lukey and all that
That's
kind
it.
of stuff.
But yeah, that's my throwback 2003.
Nice, mate. That's awesome.
snap.
First MotoGP.
Did
What
you
a
meet any
race.
riders?
Nah, the year after we met through my dad's work, Colin Edwards.
That's awesome.
And he was so nice. I mean, I was like a little kid. I know I was so nervous to meet him, but he was like so nice.
They reckon he's like one of the nicest blokes
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, he was very cool. Signed like t-shirt and stuff, which is sick.
I reckon in 05, then we went down to get all of us down and stayed.
It must have been one of those
I think
years.
your mum, your dad, my mum, we stayed at the house.
That's right. We did too.
And we had a funny incident on the veranda. We had the Suzuki team staying next door to us.
Oh, true.
And we sent James out to go talk to him.
I don't remember this at all.
We sent James out to go talk to him. And they're like, oh, yeah. I think you said, how did whoever was racing for them go? And they go, yeah, good. And then he came back inside.
Like a dog, the 12-year-old.
It was just a funny memory that I remember. But there's so many memories down in that place. God, I'm so excited.
Yeah,